Welcome to GoodnightGrow. Tonight's story is called When Nyra Didn't Win. Get cozy, and let's begin. It was sports day. Not an ordinary Tuesday, a Tuesday with a banner across the school gates, with parents arriving early and setting up fold-out chairs along the edge of the field, with children in PE kits buzzing around the playground like something had been wound up inside all of them and not yet released. Nyra had been thinking about this day for 3 weeks. Specifically, she had been thinking about the Year 3 running race. 100 meters. Straight track. Flag at the end. The kind of race where you found out exactly how fast you were. She was fast. She knew she was fast. She had been practicing in the back garden every evening after school, from the fence to the back door, over and over, her trainers loud on the grass, until Mum had come out one afternoon with a cup of tea and asked what exactly she was training for. Dad had quietly timed her on his phone, more than once. He hadn't told her the number. But the way he'd put the phone back in his pocket, that particular, careful way, had told her something. Ryan had watched the back garden training sessions with great interest from the patio. He'd attempted to join in once. He'd made it approximately 3 meters before veering sideways toward the flower bed for reasons unclear. He'd seemed satisfied with this. Nyra had not asked him to race again. The morning of sports day was bright and slightly too warm. The kind of morning that makes everything feel more important than it is, the light too sharp, the shadows too long, every small thing a bit larger than usual. Nyra got her PE kit on and ate breakfast carefully. Not too much. Not too little. Ryan ate a significant quantity of cereal and announced he was also doing sports today. At nursery. It involved beanbags. He was extremely prepared. The relay went well. The sack race was chaos, the good kind, where everyone fell over and nobody minded. The obstacle course was the usual disaster for everyone involved, which made it brilliant. And then it was time for the running race. Nyra stood at the start line and felt the sun on her shoulders. To her left, 2 places down, was Priya. Priya was also fast. This was a known and respected fact. But Nyra had been practicing, and sometimes practice was the thing that decided it. Sometimes the gap between 2 people who were both good came down to who had wanted it more in the days before. Nyra had wanted it very much. The whistle went. She ran as hard as she possibly could. She felt her legs moving beneath her, the strange awareness you get when you're really running, where your body seems to know what to do without asking permission. Arms pumping, air going in and coming out in sharp, even bursts. The grass a blur at the edges of her vision. She could hear Priya beside her. She ran harder. The finish line came, and Priya crossed it first. It happened in a fraction of a second. Less than a fraction. The kind of difference that in any other context would mean nothing at all. Priya's foot ahead of Nyra's by no more than a shoe length, if that. Gone before you'd fully seen it. But it was enough. Nyra slowed down. She put her hands on her knees for a moment, not because she needed to, just because it gave her somewhere to look that wasn't Priya's face or the finish line or the parents on the sideline. She breathed. Then she straightened up. She walked over to Priya. She clapped, properly, not a token clap, but an actual one. She said, "Well done, Priya. That was brilliant." She smiled. All the right things, on the outside. On the inside, something was sitting very heavily in the center of her chest. Not quite sadness. Not quite anger. Something heavier and flatter than either of those, a feeling that didn't have a good word attached to it, that just sat there without permission. She looked across at Mum and Dad on the sideline. They were both watching her with kind, steady faces. Dad gave her a thumbs up. She gave one back. But she didn't quite feel it. On the way home, Nyra was quiet. She looked out of the car window. The town went past the roundabout, the park, the long straight road that always seemed to go on longer than it should. Ryan was in his seat beside her, telling Dad something important about a brown dog he'd seen at the edge of the field. Very large. He was still thinking about it. Dad glanced in the mirror once. Caught Nyra's eye. He didn't say anything. Neither did she. After dinner, Nyra went upstairs to brush her teeth. She stood at the bathroom sink. The tap ran. She looked at herself in the mirror for a moment, at her face, which looked like her normal face, which seemed strange given how not normal the feeling still was. She said, quietly, to nobody in particular, "I should have one." She hadn't planned to say it out loud. But there it was. From the hallway, she heard footsteps, not Mum's, which were quick and light. Dad's. He'd been on his way to say goodnight to Ryan, who had apparently also had a very significant day involving beanbags. He stopped in the hallway, came to the bathroom doorway, sat down on the edge of the bath, the way he sometimes did when something needed proper attention. "Hey," he said. "Hey," she said, still looking at the mirror. He didn't rush into anything. He just Saturday. "Tell me what losing felt like," he said eventually. Nyra rinsed her toothbrush, thought about it. Then she tried. It wasn't about the race itself, she said. She knew she'd run her best, she couldn't have run faster, she was certain of that. And it wasn't even really about Priya, because she liked Priya, and Priya had run brilliantly. It was the feeling. The specific weight of it in her chest. Hollow and heavy at the same time. A bit embarrassing, even though she hadn't done anything to be embarrassed about. And something behind her eyes that she hadn't let become anything, because she was 7 and she'd been on a school field with parents watching. She described it all carefully, in the way she did when she was being completely honest about something. Dad listened to every word. Then he asked, very quietly, "What did it feel like, watching Priya win?" Nyra opened her mouth, then closed it again. She thought about the question honestly, the real answer, not the easy one. "Proud," she said slowly. "A little bit. It surprised me. But also worse. The proud part made the other part feel worse somehow. Like they were fighting each other. said Dad, like this was exactly the right answer. Is that allowed? Nyra asked. Feeling both things at once. Both of those feelings, said Dad, are allowed at exactly the same time. You don't have to choose. You can be proud of Priya and disappointed for yourself all in the same moment, and neither one is wrong, and neither one cancels the other out. Nyra thought about this. The mirror reflected the two of them, her standing at the sink, him on the edge of the bath, the small bathroom lit yellow and quiet. Why does it feel like I failed? She asked. I came second. That's not failing. No, said Dad. It isn't. He was quiet for a moment. Here's what I think. It feels that way because you wanted it, really wanted it. You put in the work, you showed up, you ran with everything you had. And then it wasn't quite enough. And the gap between wanting something that much and not quite getting it, that's a specific kind of hard. But it's not failure. It's just what happens to people who try for things properly. People who don't try don't feel that gap. Nyra looked at her hands. I'm going to practice more, she said. For next year. Dad smiled slowly, the way he did when something pleased him that he hadn't expected. I know you are. Is that what a good sport does? She asked. That, he said, is exactly what a good sport does. He ruffled her hair gently and said goodnight and went to check on Ryan, who was apparently still awake and had further thoughts about the dog. Nyra walked to her bedroom and got into bed. The lamp was low. The room was still. She lay on her back and thought about the race, not what had gone wrong, but the actual race. The feeling of running. How her legs had felt strong and fast and like they knew what they were doing. She thought about Priya's face when she'd crossed the line. That wide-eyed moment before she'd realized she'd won. Nyra had clapped, had said well done, had meant it, even with the heavy feeling sitting right there alongside it. Both things at once. She was already thinking about next year. She could feel the shape of it, not angry, not urgent, just certain. She would practice more. She would be ready. And that feeling, that forward-looking, certain feeling, was lighter than the heavy one. Much lighter. She thought, maybe that's what being a good sport actually is. Not pretending you don't care. Not making the feeling go away. But doing the right thing anyway, the clapping, the well done, the meaning it, and then using what's left to go forward rather than backward. The house was quiet. From next door, one last murmur from Ryan, something about the dog. Then silence. Nyra closed her eyes. She was already thinking about next year. And that, she decided, just before sleep took her, felt almost like excitement. Dad ruffled her hair and said goodnight. She heard him go down the hallway, check on Ryan, say goodnight, the soft click of Ryan's door. Then the house was quiet. Nyra lay on her back with the lamp on low. The ceiling above her was pale and still. She breathed in. She breathed out. She thought about the race. Not the losing, just the running. The feeling of her legs underneath her, doing what they knew how to do. She thought about Priya crossing the line. She thought about how she had clapped and meant it. The house creaked once, the way houses do at night, settling into themselves. Outside, very faintly, a car went past on the road. Then quiet again. She thought about next year. Practicing in the back garden. The fence to the back door, over and over. Already she could feel the wanting of it, calm and certain, not anxious. Just wanting. From next door, Ryan made a small sound and then went still again. Dreaming, probably. About the dog, most likely. Nyra's eyes grew heavy. The ceiling blurred slightly at the edges. She thought, both feelings are allowed at the same time. She thought it clearly, once. And then less clearly. And then she was not really thinking it anymore. She was just resting. In the warm dark. With all the time in the world until next year. Good night. That's the end of tonight's story. And remember, winning feels good for a moment. Being a good sport stays with you forever. You're allowed to feel disappointed and proud at exactly the same time. Both are true. Sweet dreams, and we'll see you next time on GoodnightGrow.